right? So basically, when you react that with thionyl chloride, when alcohols are reacted with thionyl chloride, we can have two types of mechanisms here. One, first, the lone pair of oxygen attacks the sulfur and forms an intermediate called alkyl chlorosulfite. This is an intermediate which is formed, and from that intermediate you would have a transition state which will lead to the retention of the reactant. Again, there are multiple mechanisms given in different books. Do not worry about it. Our idea is that as long as we have an alkyl chlorosulfide, there will be a retention product obtained. And this is considering either there is a solvent or either there is a neutral solvent like ethers. But if the solvent is changed, correct, you can see here, right, if the solvent is changed, like we are using pyridine, okay, basic solvent in that case, this time the solvent itself will react. So alkyl chlorosulfide will be formed first, and once you have that, you can see pyridine will react with the HCl which is released uh, during this reaction, PX3 reactions. But before going that, just last question of SOCl2 which was remaining yesterday. In here you can see this is also at the allylic position. Okay, this OH is leaving from here. With respect to that, this is an allylic position. So chlorine will definitely form at that allylic position. So double bond will be shifted here and chlorine would come at this place. This will be the final product. Just like how we check the tip for PCl5, a similar logic will be can be made for SOCl2 also. So alcohol, ethers, you can see acids, anhydrides, esters. If at all these react with SOCl2, got it, you will always get this top layer will have this chlorine product, this bottom layer will have that chlorine product with it, and the remaining part is SO2, so which will get escape. So just like how we wrote it for PCl5, the same logic will be applied for SOCl2 also. Got it? So you can just rewrite the tip later because it is exactly similar to that of PCl5. Okay, just like in PCl5 we have used on aldehydes and ketones, aldehydes and amides, where two chlorines will come. Like here also, remember, in case of amides, first we used to get two chlorines and then we have NH2, and these two hydrogens and these two chlorines will come out of HCl, and final product would be nitrile, RC triple bond N. Okay. So PCl5, SOCl2 and PX3, these all will show a very similar reaction with all of these functional groups. Got it? Now coming to that PX3 here. Got it? First make a note of this, just because we are ending up with SOCl2. You can check it out. And then we'll start off with the reaction of PX3. Have you noted this down? If anybody has not noted this, please make a note of this question first. Now let us come to the reactions with PCl5. First, let us write the overall reaction here. You can see overall reaction is ROH plus PCl3 is giving RCl H3PO3. Usually here the reaction will be most favored if you use bases, but if it is nothing given, which means PCl3 is directly added to ROH. Okay, PCl3 can exist in a liquid form, so which can be added to ROH and the reaction will take place. If a base is given, don't worry, reaction will still go in the same direction, same way, except that the rate will increase. Now, see what is the step 1 here. First step, as usual, what we were doing, alcohols will attack on the empty p orbital of chlorine, which is a sigma star orbital, and then we'll get to have a formation like this, ROH plus, we'll have PCl. As soon as it attacks, this chlorine would leave from here. So this is the formation which you will have. Now, okay, one usual step which we make a mistake, first I'll write that, and usually in this mechanism don't do this. P and Cl, we see that Cl minus is completely isolated in the solution, so we might think like a base and try to extract that HCl. Okay, so imagine if this HCl comes plus ROPCl3 happens. Got it? Again, the lone pair on oxygen, right, can attack back on H plus and reaction will go back. So usually this step has to be avoided. Directly chlorine does not react with the proton. Instead, Cl minus will act like a nucleophile only and attack on alkyl group. This group will leave. So we would get RCl plus P, Cl, Cl and OH. As long as you can see that earlier when there were 3 chlorines also, phosphorus will have sufficient amount of electro negativity to pull the electrons towards itself into its empty orbital. Now if you have OH is even having more inductive effect, more minus effect, so the reactivity of phosphorus will only increase. So again this reaction will take place here. So this is step 1, step 2, step 3, that the next mole of alcohol will react with Cl OH. This time I am not showing the mechanism, I am directly writing the product. That will get RCl plus P OH, Cl and OH. Step 4, again the same reaction will happen here. So we will have ROH plus P, Cl, OH and OH to get this as RCl plus POH thrice. Usually POH thrice, does not exist this way. POH thrice will undergo tautomerism, which means the lone pair here will get formation, a double bond formation with phosphorus, and I hope you guys can remember the reason, because P double bond O is a very stable bond. So now phosphorus will get negative charge on it, so it will take this proton and becomes POH, HO, double bond O and H. So what is this one? This is phosphorus acid. So what we are getting, if you check out, we are getting 1 mole here, second mole here and third mole here. So all chlorines are being utilized by 3 moles of alcohols. So that's why this overall reaction, you can see 3 moles of alcohols plus PCl3 will give 3 moles of alkyl halide and H3PO3. Okay, just make a note of it. So what we have observed here is the attack of chlorine and breaking of this bond happens as a concerted step. So I can say this is also an SN2 driven mechanism. These are all SN2 and SN2 driven mechanism. So therefore, what kind of a alkyl halide we should have? Again, that should be SN2 ready type of an alkyl halide. So if it is a tertiary group, then the reaction will not happen. It has to be primary or maximum up to secondary, but not tertiary. Right. Check these questions now. Those who have finished, just try these questions. So all of them are going to go for SN2 mechanism. Make a practice of it. See, every 3 moles will give you 3 moles of alkyl halide, and it should be an inverted product. So chlorine would come this side, methyl would be here, D and H plus H3PO3. Next one here, H would be on this direction. Now Cl would be on this direction, inverted product, H3PO3. Do the rest. So I guess all of you have done that. Right. Okay, I've put few more questions here. You guys can do that later. Check. One important thing, sometimes uh, instead of directly giving the reaction as PCl3 or PBr3, you may also get this as red phosphorus plus Cl2 or red phosphorus plus Br2. Red phosphorus plus Cl2 can actually lead to PCl3 as well as PCl5. You may have come across those reactions in the recent times. Same is the case with PBr2. So usually you will be provided with the data of PCl3 or PBr3. But when it comes to iodine, it could be given at red phosphorus plus I2. As red phosphorus plus I2 will be in equilibrium with Pi3. So it can be prepared in situ. So in case if the reaction is given this way also, it is still going for Pi3 reaction. So 3 moles of alcohols will form 3 moles of iodides. Okay, make a note of this point, everyone. So in case of Pi3, it is prepared in situ. That is, first we would add the iodine, and then on top of that we will add red phosphorus to the alcohol solution, and the reaction will take place. So the product would be 3 moles of CH3 CH2I plus H3PO3. Same thing here also, iodine with an inversion, D plus H3PO3. So done with that. Okay. Now this is an important area, students. These are very common questions, frequent questions asked, like what will be the rate of SN2 in all these different cases. Correct. Which one will have more rate or less rate? So let us first simple ones, then we'll go slowly into the more conceptual ones. And I will just write one line reasons for it. Check out. First one, CH3 CH2 Cl CH3 CH2 Br. Here based upon the better leaving group. So we know that Br minus is better leaving group than Cl minus. Second one, this is second degree, this is 1 degree, and we know that 1 degree is more favored. So SN2 prefers less steric carbon. Yeah. Third, between these two, if you check out here, the resonance will hinder the incoming nucleophile to attack on the sigma star, so it cannot approach. We learned that this reaction do not usually take place. So what does that mean? This will be the order, correct? So nucleophile is hindered or repelled by pi electrons. Next case, keep writing along with me, everyone. Next case, you can see the lone pair if it is present on the alpha carbon, right? Lone pair carrying atom, if it is present on the alpha carbon, that would increase the stability of transition state. We have been discussing this before also. So plus M effect, right, or plus R effect stabilizes the transition state in the first case. Next, check the next one. Here it is the same thing, lone pair will support here, same reason. So the order would be this way. Okay, those who are able to do, keep doing that. Next order, here you can see the allylic position will always help to stabilize the carbon. So this way it will be the order, and you know that this is vinylic chlorine. Vinylic chlorine will not make any SN2 reaction, correct? So similar reason, which is stability, transition state stability increases in case of allyl. Keep writing that. Next, CH3Br, CH2CH2Br, and this is purely because of crowding, so this is steric hindrance. The next is an important part here. Check this. Okay, now all of you will focus here. In this case, with respect to this chlorine, this would be it sigma star, while here this will be its sigma star, and nucleophile will try to approach from the backside attack towards this sigma star orbital. But when it is attacking, what you would observe that there is if you can see that there is a little bit of repulsion that can come because of this diaxial hydrogens. Correct. If you remember that, this is called as 1,3 diaxial repulsion. Okay. Now this diaxial are present on this side also, H, H, and they will give a repulsion towards this chlorine, right? So which means these three will repel with each other, what we call it as 1,3 diaxial repulsion. Okay. Now due to 1,3 diaxial repulsion, I can say this bond weakens. This bond weakens, which is not the case in uh, equatorial chlorine. But here if you observe, these diaxial repulsions are existing here also between these three hydrogens, and nucleophile is also coming with an electron cloud. So this, due to diaxial repulsion, the nucleophile cannot come easily towards that sigma star, where here the nucleophile can approach easily. Okay. And another advantage is this bond is becoming weak, so this bond breaks easily as compared to this bond. Okay. So due to diaxial repulsion, we can say the rate of axial positioned chlorine for substitution would be easier to do as compared to that of equatorial. Okay. So I'll make it as a note. And the same thing happens even for SN1 also, because in SN1 we have SN1 purely depends upon this bond strength. If the bond strength is weak, carbocation can form very easily. Okay. So SN1 or SN2, in both the cases, axial substitution will have more rate compared to that of equatorial case. Okay. Axial will have better rate compared to that of equatorial. I hope all of you understood that. Please make a note. Yeah. See the next one here between these three, right? Between 2 and 3, it is the iodine which is a better leaving group. So definitely 3 will be greater than 2, and the first one won't happen because it is vinylic position. Finished?
Daddy. But I have a stair over here.
Right. See the next one now. Here we know that bridge position halides, cannot be removed out by substitution. Right. So bridge head substitution doesn't take place. So this would be the rate. Next one is pretty simple. Benzylic is better than phenylic. Phenylic does have a partial double bond character, so it won't take place. Okay, these two are very special cases. Just check this carefully. Right, so last one, right? We have only last one. Check this. This case 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So what is happening? In case of first one, cyclopropyl, we already discussed this. In cyclopropyl chloride does not go for SN2 because in the transition state it would have very high strain on this carbon, correct? Because it is already under a high angle strain, so it would be difficult for it. Now slowly the strain is releasing, so we may expect that the 6-membered ring is better for substitution than 5-membered ring. then 2-membered and 1-membered. I mean 3-membered ring. But in case of 5-membered ring, if you check out, it takes an envelope shape, right? In the envelope shape, if chlorine is present here, because this is the more stable conformer for cyclopentane. For cyclopentane, this is the more stable conformer. So if you see that the the sigma star for this would be here, and nucleophile will try to attract here. Okay. Same thing, sigma star would be here, and nucleophile will try to attack that. Okay. So in case of cyclohexane, just now we have learned that there would be a diaxial repulsion for the nucleophile as it is approaching towards sigma star. But that type of a diaxial repulsion is not observed in cyclopentane, because you can see these hydrogens are actually far away from each other. They are not coming exactly parallel to each other. Got it? So that type of a diaxial repulsions won't be exhibiting in cyclopentane. So thereby, if you check out the stability order, it is 3 more stable than 4, or rather rate order, third, fourth, then second, then first. Okay. So this is the rate of SN2. Here let me write, no diaxial repulsions. Here exhibits diaxial repulsions. Finished on that, everyone? Please make a note. Then we'll see how both can be included, and when we are doing problem solving, what are the cases that you will come across. Okay. So let us start with SN1 here. SN, give the heading, everyone. So SN1 reactions. Just like SN2, we had bimolecular. Here it is unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reactions. Right. So first, let me write the overall reaction. Keep writing with me, because this is all a simple stuff which you have definitely come across before. Suppose if there are 3 different alkyl groups connected to the carbon, which is connected to a leaving group, any halide here, and if this reacts with aqueous OH minus, it is found that Br minus will break, Br minus will come out, and we will get R1, R2, R3, this carbocation. Then OH minus will attack to get an alcohol group here, plus and minus, which represents it is a racemic mixture. What has been found, that this is the slow step and this is the rapid step or very fast step which is observed. So this is the overall reaction of SN1 reaction. In SN1, you will always see tertiary or more substituted groups are undergoing these reactions. Let us get a feeling of mechanism. How it is. You can see R1, C, R2, R3 as it is connected to Br. They already have enough electronegative difference. So if your solvent is polar protic like water, if the solvent is polar protic like water, then water will have delta negative side also and delta positive side also. So this delta negative side will start attracting the delta positive side of carbon, and delta positive side will start attracting the delta negative side of carbon. You know this type of an interaction is called dipole-dipole interaction. Okay. So dipole-dipole interaction, we will be able to see dipole-dipole interactions happening. Because of dipole-dipole interactions, this bond will start becoming weak, and what we will experience is slowly the bond breaking will take place. And since it is the slow step, it is also the rate determining step. We will have a carbocation formation as an intermediate. So we would have this as R1, R2, R3, and Br minus will depart. And just to remind the features of carbocation is an sp2 hybridized with one pure p orbital, empty orbital, empty orbital. This is the feature of carbocation, and I'm sure you all know that. So this is the step 1 what we have seen, correct? The main motivation of this reaction, the main motivation are two. One, stable carbocation formation. Second, how much high polarity the solvent will have. More polarity the solvent has, more dipole-dipole interactions it can give, and easily it can break that bond. Second, step 2, the so formed carbocation here, R2, R1, R3 with positive charge, this would have, like I said, an empty orbital on which we are attacking OH minus, which is a nucleophile. I would say, sir, water can also attack. Yes, depending upon whose nucleophilicity is high. HO minus, if it is present, sufficiently enough, then HO minus is a stronger nucleophile. So we would see OH minus will attack. But since both sides the lobe, will have a same amount of reactivity, it can attack from both ends, and you can have product like this: R1, R2, R3 and OH plus HO, R2, R3, R1. So what are we getting? We are getting a racemic mixture. Okay, and you know that racemic mixture will make the solution optically inactive. So this is the overall reaction mechanism for SN1. Please make a note. Second step, OH minus is a bond formation, so that's why it is a rapid step or a fast step. Okay. All of you have noted that. Now, let us compare the energy profile. Just like in SN2, here if we compare the energy profile, potential energy versus the reaction progress, how the reaction is progressing. So we had a tertiary alkyl halide, which in the first step is converting into carbocation. From carbocation it is becoming a product, and obviously the product formation which is happening here, it has to have a stronger bond, hence you would see it overall reaction is exothermic. So it will go through two transition states. First transition state, because it is a two-step reaction. So first there is an intermediate forming. Next transition state, where from an intermediate it is forming towards a product. So there are two transition state and there is one intermediate, got it? And totally there are two steps involved. So there are two steps, two transition states and one intermediate forming in general SN1 reaction. Make a note, everyone. Next, what are the other important pointers which we observe? We saw that first step is slow, First step is slow reaction, so hence it is the RDS of the reaction. Since it is the RDS, we can write the rate law based on that as K, some constant K into substrate, because it is only depending upon the substrate concentration, not the nucleophile, because nucleophile is not involved in the first step. Okay, and you can see it has order 1. These are all same things you have learned in E1 mechanism, so I am just going through that. Please keep writing. And like I said, it is independent of concentration and nature of nucleophile, right? Next, it exhibits secondary isotopic effect. Just like in E1 also, you may have observed that the stability of carbocation, right, is an important feature of the rate. So therefore I can say the reactivity rate here would be CH3 twice CBr will have more rate compared to that of CD3 thrice C and Br. If anybody has a problem in understanding isotopic effect, please ask me in the doubt session, okay? Keep writing that. And you can see how the rate is changing with respect to the concentration of alkyl halide. As the concentration of alkyl halide increases, the rate would increase, because the rate depends only on the substrate concentration. Since it is independent of nucleophile concentration, the rate would be constant. Note that graphs. In case if you have missing any line or any statement, don't worry about it. I'm sharing the class notes, right? Fill that later, once the session is done. So let's focus more on the concepts. If anybody has a doubt in the concept, just do stop me in the middle, okay? Right. Now this is an important area, how the stereochemistry of SN1 varies. Got it? Okay. Now first let me read out some general statement and then we'll get into the concept. You know what is racemization, correct? Racemization happens when you have equal percentage of dextro and levo product. Okay, so with on the polarimeter, if one particular solution is giving x amount of plus x degree of reading and the other solution is giving minus x degree of reading, got it, and both of them are present in the same solution now, so the overall reading would be 0 or overall it would show optically inactive. This is called external compensation of angles or external compensation of optical activity. You may have learned this in stereochemistry. Okay. So the same thing here. So racemization happens because of external compensation, and it is expected in SN1 because nucleophile is attacking on carbocation, which will allow the nucleophile to attack from both ends. So what we expect is that there should be equal amount of dextro and levo. Racemization must happen. But what happens in SN1 usually is that racemization is observed with some degree of inversion, which means inversion amount is overall more than the retention amount. So therefore the percentage of inverted product is slightly more than the retention product. Okay. Now this can be explained by attack of nucleophile in tight ion pair. So this can be explained by attack of nucleophile in the tight ion pair. Now what is this tight ion pair? Let me conceptually tell you and then we'll go forward. Please do not write anything right now, just focus on it. Okay. Let's focus on this concept first. See, when we have an alkyl halide present in a solvent, as soon as you add it to the as soon as we add Rx to a solvent here, initially they would have very strong attraction. First a covalent attraction, correct? In fact, a covalent bond is formed. Now slowly what happens, due to dipole-dipole interactions, the charge on R increases and charge on Br increases, and they will start becoming plus and minus, right? This is happening because of the dipole-dipole interactions, just now I told you, okay? So when they just start getting a high charge, that is the first stage, what we call it as the intimate ion pair or the tight ion pair. So first we will have an intimate ion pair. So this is the first stage of breaking of bond, okay? So first it will form an intimate ion pair. Now slowly, as the more number of solvent particles involved in it, more amount of bonding starts involving in it, so they will start completely separated. While separating out, still they will start showing some amount of attraction between them, but because the number of solvent particles are not very much between them, there are some solvent particles, but only few of the solvent particles are coming in between them. So R plus and Br minus will still have attraction. So this stage, this second stage is called solvent separated ion pair. Okay. After that, as you keep it for longer time, rather as you can see the stage wise how RBr behaves. Now R plus will get completely separated because more number of water molecules or more number of solvent particles surround it. And same happens with the Br minus, so they get completely independent free ions. Got it? You may have learned conductometric titrations also, and if you remember infinite dilutions, conductivity at infinite dilutions, okay, Cowell-Rush law, which says that both ions will get completely independent of each other at infinite dilution, correct? Think in a same lines, as if it is an infinite dilution, both the ions got completely separated out now. So these are the free ions which are formed. This is how exactly carbocation forms. Is this clear, guys? So let me rephrase them. So from the initial covalent molecule becoming a tight ion pair or intimate ion pair, leading to it a solvent separated ion pair, and finally becoming free ions. This is the stage of carbocation formation. Okay. Now in this, what you will observe here, just I am writing all in brief, the intimate ion pair, tight ion pair in the first stage, correct, will have a strong attraction, correct? Just check this out. R plus and Br minus will have strong attraction. So now if a nucleophile attacks from the same side where Br is leaving, okay, it would be difficult for nucleophile to attack. But as it start getting R plus, as the alkyl start getting R plus, immediately the nucleophile will start attacking from the opposite direction. So you would see inversion already has started reaction, but retention type of reaction has not started at all. So therefore what I can say, okay, the nucleophile or a solvent will start attacking R plus, but only from the back side, not from the front side. So from the front side, Br minus is still giving a lot of shielding towards R plus. So front attack won't be possible. Okay. Right. As you go into the second case, now the solvent has separated R plus and Br minus now. So definitely now you would see racemization will start taking place. So R plus has been formed, Br minus has been formed. Although they would have small amount of attraction between them, now the nucleophile can attack from both ends, from this side also, from this side also. So racemization will take place. In third case, definitely racemization takes place because Br minus is completely separated out. So remember that in the first case, only inversion is happening. Second stage and third stage, racemization is taking place. And this is the prime reason for increasing percentage increase in the inversion content. Overall racemization, if it is asked, why racemization is not happening completely, or why there is no 100% racemization. These are the reasons. The reason is because of the intimate ion pair or the tight ion pair, nucleophile will attack only from the backside. Okay. Right. So this is also given in Peter Sykes. If anybody wants to read it once again, just check it out, go through that notes. Okay. Okay, you don't have to write all of this. I just want you to write only this part of it. Got it? Please mention this part. Write these 3 stages. Later you can write the entire theory. Everyone, please write down this part. So there are 3 stages for carbocation formation. First, intimate ion pair, solvent separated ion pair, and finally free ions. Right. Okay. If you have written that, just write these 2 important conclusions now. Along with me, write the conclusions. What we have learned. Suppose if you have more stable carbocation, definitely this time taken for intimate ion pair to form this and this would be less, right? So there would be a fast change from intimate ion pair towards free ions. So that's an important conclusion. So write with me. More stable the cation, greater is percentage racemization. And more nucleophilic the solvent, more nucleophilic as in more polarized. Okay, if there is high polarity in the solvent, I'll specify that way also. High polarity in the solvent, the separation happens faster, hence greater, more nucleophilic the solvent, greater is percentage inversion, because that will attack faster, and more polarized the solvent, greater is percentage racemization. Okay, if anybody has any doubt in these statements, please do ask now. Please write that now. We'll go to the next concept. Okay. Next concept we'll be learning is solvolysis. By definition, you know that any substitution reaction where solvent itself is acting like a nucleophile, then we call it as solvolysis reaction. Solvolysis as in the breaking of solvent molecule to undergo nucleophilic reaction. Lysis is always about breaking the bond. Okay. Right guys, so let's observe that. Keep write the definition of solvolysis. And solvolysis is observed in both SN1 as well as SN2 reactions. Now we'll see both of them. Right. Every solvolysis has a name. If water is involved, it is called hydrolysis. If alcohol is involved, it is called alcoholysis. If ammonia is involved, it is called ammonolysis. Okay. If formic acid is involved, it is called formolysis. So every solvolysis have a name. So we will go one by one here. So first one is hydrolysis. Hydrolysis means where water is acting as a nucleophile. Please understand the difference between a hydration and a hydrolysis. Whenever a word lysis is used, there has to have a breaking of bond. Okay, check this out. If nucleophile or a solvent is H2O, then what would happen? Keep writing with me. So CH3, CH3, Cl, and if you have the tertiary alkyl halide, it will go for SM1 reaction in the presence of H2O. So I can say that CH3, 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 OH plus HCl. This is the overall reaction. If you see the mechanism, this is a chlorine which is reacted with H2O. So we know that first, due to dipole-dipole interactions, this bond will break, and this is the slow step. So as it breaks, there would be a carbocation formation here. So from the carbocation formation, water as a nucleophile will attack on it. Okay. So as it attacks, you can see it will form OH2 plus, an oxonium type of an ion here, and from there we will see H plus will be removed out, and finally we will have alcohol as the product. So how many steps are involved here? You can check out the number of arrows, 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 steps involved here. So keep writing. Right. So if you check out the energy profile, it started off with this alkyl halide, and it went to a first transition to form a carbocation. From carbocation through second transition, it reached to this oxonium ion OH2 plus, and from there, by removal of proton, it has become alcohol. So thereby there are 3 steps involved with 3 transition state and 2 intermediates. This intermediate has more energy, less energy compared to this because of more number of sigma bonds. You know that.
So between alcohol and the ion, where is
Alcohol,
the ion works? The final product and the before the second reaction intermediate.
this one
Yes, sir. So
between
why
these
that
two.
is more energy than this one? Yes, sir. That ion
Between
has
these
an
two.
extra sigma bond.
Okay, okay. You're
Yes, sir.
getting a lot
Yes.
of disturbance, but can you mute it? I understood that. Okay. If you check this out, O H H here, right? We have OH, positive charge. Okay. Right. So this energy could be lower or higher. I mean, it depends upon what is the bond strength between them and how much positive charge it has. Okay. So yes, as you said, this can have a dip also here, and finally the product would have less energy, more energy as compared to that of the OH2 plus. Okay. But it doesn't matter. All we need to check out is, how this reactant and the final product are involved. If you check out between these two, delta H will be negative. Please make a note. Right. So this is the first type of solvolysis where we are doing solvolysis by water. Now second type of solvolysis, did everybody note that? The second type of solvolysis which we will see is alcoholysis, where we are reacting this alkyl halide, 3-degree alkyl halide, with alcohols like ETOH, MEOH. You can take any alcohol, MEOH, BuOH, okay, and so on. Preferably alcohol which is not too bulky, not like this OH, okay. The rate would be very slow for that. Now, if alcohol reaction happens here through SN1, again I'm not writing the entire mechanism, so you can check this out. The product will be OET plus HCl. This is what it is. Now usually a question that comes in our mind is that, sir, if HCl is forming, the lone pair should attack here and a reverse reaction should take place. See, when solvolysis is been happening, the solvent is at a very high concentration and the amount of solvent is very high. So reaction will always tend to be in the forward direction. Le Chatelier's principle. Okay. Next, ammonolysis. This is very important area. You will come across this multiple number of times from now. A solvolysis by ammonia is called ammonolysis. Check this. CH3Cl, when you treat with ammonia, goes for SN2 mechanism, not SN1 here. Remember, it is SN2. CH3 NH2. First SN2, where chlorine, where ammonia has attacked as a nucleophile and chlorine has left at the same time. It's a concerted step. So this plus HCl is what has formed. But in case if CH3Cl is present more, okay, if the number of moles of CH3Cl as compared to that of NH3 are more, then this CH3 will further attack with CH3, the lone pair on nitrogen will further attack with CH3 as a nucleophile, and we would again get this CH3 NH CH3 plus HCl. This is what we will keep getting. Again, if you treat with excess of CH3Cl, you will get this product CH3 CH3N CH3 CH3 lone pair with HCl. Again, if we react this with CH3Cl, we will get a tertiary quaternary ammonium salt. N with positive and Cl minus. So quaternary ammonium salt is what we will find. Okay. So reaction will end at this point, considering if the alkyl halide concentration is more than the ammonia which you have added. Okay. So depending upon the reaction type, if this was given like CH3Cl is in excess. So you will write the major product as quaternary ammonium salt. If ammonia is given as excess, then primary amine will be the major product. Not that others are not forming, but this will be major product. I guess this is done, everyone. Make a note of it. Now let's see what are the factors that influence the rate of SN1. Okay. So just like how we checked out in SN2, there were several factors. One thing is the crowding, then the strength of nucleophile, correct? Similarly, and solvent. Here also we'll see what are those factors which influence the rate. The first factor being formation of carbocation, which is very essential, right? So if carbocation formation is better, or rather more stable, the rate would be more. So formation of carbocation is the RDS. So therefore I can say rate of SN1 is directly related to stability of carbocation. Okay. Therefore, how we write the rate now? Okay, we can write rate as CH3Br less than CH3CH2Br less than CH3CHBr less than CH3CCH3CH3Br. Okay, these two will hardly go for SN1 reactions. You know that they will usually do not go for SN1 reactions. Okay, make a note. The other rate, one more rate which I can give you, one more order or trend, is in case if you have tertiary butyl bromide, it would have less stability compared to that of one phenyl group and two methyl groups, which will be having less rate compared to that of two phenyl groups, which will be less rate compared to that of three phenyl groups. You have exactly studied the same thing for E1 mechanism, because SN1 and E1 goes hand in hand. There is no difference in SN1 and E1 mechanism, okay, except that temperature. If temperature is more, E1 is favored, otherwise SN1 is favored. Right. So these questions are valid for the questions which are valid for SN1 are also valid for E1, guys. Okay. So now we will see few questions where rate of SN1 has to be decided. Just like few minutes back we saw how the rate of SN2 was decided. Let us see few questions now. Yeah. Check out first one, A, B, C, and we'll write a brief reason for the same. Between A, B, C, we can check this is secondary, secondary and secondary. So it is not the position. But here the carbocation which is forming will undergo allylic stability. But here it would form an anti-aromatic ring. Okay. So I'm not showing everything in writing. I guess you can understand this because you have done this part of it. So this would form an anti-aromatic carbocation. So definitely this is not favorable. So B is most favorable, then A is favorable, and then C. So we can say that B better than A, better than C. This would be the rate of SN1. Okay. C attains B due to allyl carbocation stability. and C due to anti-aromatic
Sir,
carbocation.
C is aromatic now, sir.
Huh?
C is aromatic, I think.
C is how is aromatic, beta? If you have this positive charge, is anti-aromatic.
Ah, yes, sir.
Next one. Acha, since we are doing SN1, we can keep revising SN2 also. Can anyone tell me SN2 order how it will be for the same first case? This one was SN1 order.
Same
Anyone?
order.
Same order. Very good. This would be same order in this case. Good. Next one, second one. Fast. We'll keep doing fast, everyone. Okay. Keep doing that. So SN1. Right. So if you check out SN1 between ABC, we have to stabilize a carbocation. So these are all benzylic carbocations. You can see benzylic group here. All of them are benzylic except OCH3 is a strongly donating group, NO2 is strongly withdrawing group. So therefore I can say A is better than B is better than C. This would be the rate. Okay. So OCH3 always gives plus M and minus I, but overall electron donating group. NO2 always gives minus M minus I, overall electron withdrawing group. Now can anyone tell me SN2 rate?
Same order.
Please be careful here, it will be opposite order. Why? I'll tell you, everybody, please understand this. When it comes to crowding, this entire benzylic group, this benzylic group, this benzylic group is almost similar in terms of crowding. Okay, so crowding is not an important concern, at least in this question for SN2, because after this beta carbon, this is alpha carbon, this is alpha carbon, this is beta carbon. At beta carbon, whatever the crowding it is there here, it is the same here, it is the same here. So the only factor that can increase the rate of SN2 is the delta positive charge which can be formed here when the nucleophile attacks. Okay. So imagine if a nucleophile is attacking, where is the more delta positive charge at this situation, because it is not has formed carbocation completely. So delta positive is most at this carbon, okay, and least at this carbon. Suppose all of you understood that.
Sir, for transition state stability, A is more. Transition
Transition
state,
state
we should
stability,
stabilize.
like I said,
So you told
transition state stability would be more as long as you are at the beta position. Got it? Like if this is the case where, you know, this group is going, suppose if this is a leaving group, like here this is a leaving group and this is a nucleophile which is approaching, okay, and these are all the pi bonds which you have. Okay, got it? Only this initial closer pi bonds will help that for the transition state, but problem is for this nucleophile to even approach here, initially it should have delta positive. As much as more delta positive it is, then the nucleophile will attack on it. So here this is a dominant feature as compared to that of what stabilization it is getting during transition state. Okay, so initial delta positive is a very important factor here. Are you getting this, guys? In fact, if you just recall this Cl double bond O, okay, now nucleophile here attacks, like I said, there are two reasons for it. One is anti-bonding orbitals, you know, they will make a hybrid orbital for lowest ABMO. That was one reason. Second reason, I told you that it is a strong withdrawing group, minus I group. So whenever there are minus I groups, delta positive would be more on the carbon and nucleophile will attack at a faster rate. Is that okay, everyone? Yeah. Next. Next, I think this is clear. Even for SN1 and SN2, you would see A is better than B because A is benzylic, B is only phenylic. Anybody has a doubt can stop me here. Okay, next, see here. This case we just discussed for SN2. Okay, for SN2, let me write that SN2. If you have chlorine at equatorial position and axial position, we know that at axial position, if the incoming nucleophile is coming, it will have, you know, less trans 1 to axial repulsions, but equatorial, since it has to come from here, it exhibits this repulsions from hydrogens. Got it? So which one is more reactive here? This one. So which means for SN2, B is more reactive compared to that of A. And like I said, there for SN1 also it is the same order. Now this time, sorry, it is the bond strength which is deciding. Axial bond can be broken easily as compared to that of equatorial bond because due to 1,3 axial repulsions, this bond can be broken easily. Okay, so let me write down that. So here and here hydrogens will give this 1,3 axial repulsions, because of which this bond can be broken easily and carbocation can form easily. So bond strength of carbon chlorine weakens in axial position. All of you please make a note. Next one, SN1, how does it vary? Check this. This is also position secondary, but this is vinylic, allylic and only secondary. We know that allylic is always more favorable carbocation compared to that of second degree compared to that of vinylic. And when it comes to SN2, anyone about SN2? Anyone give me an answer for SN2?
Same.
Right, that would be same. Right. Next one. Here you can check out there are two methyl groups, one phenyl group, two phenyl groups, one methyl group. So we just learned that SN1 would be better for B greater than A. SN2 not valid, okay, because they are tertiary. You will never see SN2 happening there. Keep a note of that. Next, SN1 here. Check out carbocation forming here, here and here. First one, what type of a carbocation we will get? We will get allylic. Second is only 2 degree carbocation. Third is OCC, right? Octet completed carbocation. And you remember that carbocations, the most stable one is octet completed carbocation. So the rate would be faster for C compared to that of A and compared to that of B. And when it comes to SN2 also, the lone pair support in the transition state, will make it more stabilized. Same is the case here, but lone pair would give better stability as compared to only pi bond. So here also the order would be same. Next one, lone pair donation from nitrogen, lone pair donation from oxygen. Which will give better donation? So it is nitrogen which gives. So SN1 and SN2 would also be same. Let's make a note, everyone. Next SN1 here, check this. In SN1 you have to check out the stability of carbocation. We have toluene, phenol, styrene, and tertiary butyl benzyl chloride. So between this A, B, C, D, from toluene to phenol to styrene to D, this type of molecules, if you check out, the first one will give you plus M as well as 3 hydrogen hyperconjugation, because all 3 hydrogens can give an hyperconjugated resonance. Here also it can give plus I, not plus M, sorry, plus I. So here also it can give plus I with 2 hydrogen hyperconjugation, and on benzene ring hyperconjugation is a very important factor. So here also plus I with only 1 hydrogen hyperconjugation. Here there is no hyperconjugation, only plus I. So which is more dominant? So the first one is more dominant. So A, B, C, D. So that will stabilize carbocation better. Like I said, in SN2, you will always see when these groups are very far better. These groups are very far, so don't think in terms of crowding, because this is where you need to check whether there is any crowding, nearest crowding is there or not. This group is very far, so crowding is not a factor that will influence here. It is the one which has more delta positive. So delta positive is more for D, then C, then B and A. So always remember, on the benzylic position, okay, SN1 is directly proportional to stability of carbocation. Okay, SN2 is directly proportional to delta positive of carbon, alpha carbon. Okay, right. Next one, benzylic and OCH2Cl. Okay, so obviously the lone pair here would be more influencing. So SN1 order here would be B greater than A. Okay. SN2 also we have discussed earlier with that case, so I'm not writing again. So SN1, in the next one, check out here SN1, where is it favored? Right, see, this is secondary, sorry, this is tertiary, primary and secondary. Although we might get an idea that, sir, after Br is removed, carbocation is at tertiary, but removing here also, it will stabilize to get tertiary. It will also stabilize to get tertiary. Got it? See, this SN1 and SN2 are kinetically driven. So first formation of carbocation is very important. The first formation of carbocation is more stable or not is what you have to judge. So if you can see, this is forming at tertiary, this is forming as primary, this is forming at secondary. So 2 degree, 1 degree and 3 degrees. So 3 degree is always more favored in terms of rate. So you can say A is better than C, better than B. Okay. And when it comes to SN2, in SN2 it is always about crowding. Okay, in this case it is only about crowding. Only in that benzylic cases, don't worry about that crowding part. In SN2, check it out, it is B better than C, better than A. Please make a note. Okay, I'll take last 2 minutes. 3 questions, then we'll wind up. Next one, you can see this is benzylic, allylic and simple primary. So definitely between benzylic and allylic, always benzylic is more favored than allylic. Okay, this is considering it has a simple allylic. If you have a tertiary allylic, that's a different case which we will discuss now. Finished on that. Right. In case of SN2, it is difficult to judge. In case of SN2, it has to be only data based. From the data based, you can see A is better than B is better than C. I've given you the data already for SN2. You can go and check again. It would be, A should be better than B than C. Next, this 13th case. All of them are bridgeheads, and on bridgeheads, ABC are bridgeheads. So on bridgeheads, we know that if carbocation is forming or a double bond is forming, it means it is a violation of a Brett's rule. So here carbocation formation is very difficult, but considering it's a very slow reaction, if we give it a time, which one have a better rate? That is what we need to tell. So if you check out for SN1 here, okay, first this carbocation is not a bridgehead. Please remember that. This is just a fusing of two rings. So here it is a simple tertiary carbocation. So hence D is much better in comparison of rates with ABC. And in ABC, suppose if the carbocation is forming here, if it forms here, the first case, second case, third case, if you check out, this has a smaller ring size, correct? This has a smaller ring size, 5-membered ring, correct? This has a 6-membered ring, both 6-membered rings. While here this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-membered ring as well as 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7-membered ring. Got it? So usually the one which has more number of rings here, don't think only in terms of two 6-membered rings. Also think in terms of more number of strain releasing groups here. So angle strain will be released more here as compared to this one and this one. Okay. So B would have very high angle strain because it would still exhibit in the 5-membered ring. So we can say that D is better than C, then A, then B. Okay, if you have a doubt, just think again, just put some logic and we will discuss again the doubt solving session. Just go through that once. SN2 never going to happen, so we will not discuss SN2 on these cases. Next, this is straight from NCERT. Okay, this is completely data based, so we can't just judge on the basis of any inductive effect or so. Okay, in NCERT it is already given that if you check out just how much we can discuss here is this is 1 degree, this is 1 degree, right, with better inductive effect. This is 2 degree, right, this is 3 degree. Got it? So one thing we can say that 3 degree is better than 2 degree, and between 1 degrees here more methyl groups which are present here, that is being more dominant at this factor. Okay, although you might think that sir first carbocation will be more stable here because it will have two hyperconjugated hydrogens, it has only one hyperconjugated hydrogen, correct? So that's again a relative debate, so that's why it is a experimental value. So you just please take this because it is from NCERT directly, so you have to remember it. So D, C, B, A, this will be the order. Okay, DC is pretty simple. It is a case which we have, which is debatable between B and A, but B is better than A. Same, this is also from previous old NCERT. Here ABC. If you consider here, in this case, this is, check out, this is secondary, this is secondary, this is primary, this is secondary. So we will give preference more to secondary, and here this is secondary with 6 hyperconjugations, because if the carbocation comes here, you can check this out, CH3, CH, CH3 plus 6 hyperconjugations, while here we will have CH3 and this H is present here with positive CH. So here it will have only 4 hyperconjugations, and that might be the impact which is causing the rate. So C would be better than A than B. Okay. So note these two cases as a experimental cases. It would be better you can just remember it directly. Yes, beta.
Sir, in first case it can rearrange, no?
That's what I'm saying. The first case, this in which one you're saying? B, right?
A, sir, A.
A will get rearranged. But before rearrangement only we have to see na beta. Because first carbocation formation will decide the rate, not after that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Not don't do after rearrangement. Before rearrangement, whether it is stable or not is what you have to check out the important criteria. Okay. I hope all of you understood this part. Yeah. Okay. Evening we will see if needed we will take, but you can start solving questions now.